Maggie, what are you not wrong about?
I feel like I
Every
have to have the whole episode to think about this answer. So,
Hi everyone, welcome to He's Not Wrong. I'm your host Chad D, and I am joined with Maggie Gehlsen-Burnett from the Pretty Furious podcast. This is okay for those watching. This is a new platform I'm using for this episode, and I'm extremely nervous because we are the podcast of errors, and I have no clue what I'm doing right now. But I'm grateful that you're here, Maggie. Thank you for joining us.
thanks for having me, Chad. I'm excited to be here.
It's like a twist of fate that you're here because I told you that this episode was really going to be about your pregnancy and just kind of how things are
Yeah.
going in the world. But really, I blindsided you, and I just want to fight you right now for stealing my co-host from me. So, what do you have to say about that?
I'm so sorry. I will say that the way that Mallory and I became podcast co-hosts is very kind of bizarre and truly just happened on Instagram. So sorry.
Yeah, 8 years in the making. 8 years in the making. Uh-huh.
And to add insult to injury, Mallory and I have actually
Please.
never met in person.
Okay, that is the most insane fact that you could possibly share with me. How?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We just I interviewed her for my old podcast and then we knew each other through the pageant world and
Yeah.
had a lot of mutual friends. And then when I was considering bringing on a co-host, she sort of was like, she slid into my DMs and was like, "Hi." And I was like, "What the fuck? Okay, sounds good." And so, yeah, we just had a couple of conversations and then we were like, that was basically it. Then we started Pretty Furious. So,
I
yeah.
just I cannot number 1, I cannot believe that 8 years of trying and pitching and writing and conversations, and all it took was 1 DM, so you mean to tell me that was a DM?
It was a DM. I
Damn!
wish I
Well,
could go back and find it.
listen, please do, and when you find it, give it to me, and I will share it with everyone. But I'm so happy that y'all found each other because it has been such a joy watching y'all's podcast grow. I tell everyone, I
Thanks.
think I talked about it on yours maybe, on when I was a guest, that they're like sister cousin podcasts in my opinion. You don't
They
have to
are,
agree with
yeah.
that, but I
No, they
really
are. Absolutely. Yeah, they're sister podcasts for sure. I agree wholeheartedly with that. I love
No,
that.
I'm in Alabama, they're sister cousin podcasts.
Oh, yeah. Oh my god. Mhm, mhm. The incest joke went right over my head.
Come on, Maggie.
Right over my Midwest head.
Well, listen, I have a surprise for you.
Oh, I
Talking
can't
about
wait.
Mallory and your podcast, Pretty Furious. I just want to show real quickly. This is not the surprise, but I am repping the 2018
Gorgeous.
campaign gear. You can't really see it in the shot, but I am wearing a Mallory Hagan shirt. So I have a surprise for you.
Margaret, I hope you have a great time today on Chad's podcast, inspired by yours truly.
I'm crying.
But in all seriousness, I am extremely excited that the two of you are getting a chance to connect. You are two of my most favorite people on this whole entire planet.
Oh.
And I will say that what an unexpected twist and turn to find ourselves co-hosting a podcast of our own. I couldn't ask for a better friend and business partner, confidant,
Oh.
sometimes therapist, fellow Enneagram 8. It is just the surprise of my life to have become such good friends with you. You are the salt of the earth. You're one of the best human beings I've ever met. And I'm really appreciative that the cult both of us are a part of, or were a part of, brought us together. So you guys have a great recording. I love you both.
Oh
Oh.
my god, that's so sweet. Wow. Am I gonna cry? That was so nice.
I hope you do. That would make a really good clip.
That was so sweet. Oh my gosh.
Talk
What
about
a
this.
lovely surprise.
Talk about this cult real quickly.
Yeah, the cult of Miss America. Mhm. Yeah, so Mallory is obviously a former Miss America. I never got that far. I very clearly, I'm much lesser known. I did compete within the Miss America organization for 12 years of my life. So, yeah, that's how Mallory and I know each other is through pageants.
It truly is a cult in some ways. We won't get into it. I'll let them go listen to your episode that y'all did on Miss
Yes, it's
America. But
bonkers. Yeah.
so when I was on your podcast, I was blindsided by the game that y'all played, and I told Mallory that payback is a bitch and I will get it.
Mhm,
So, in my true
mhm.
fashion, I'm gonna get payback when she's not here to defend herself.
Perfect, great.
So listen, I just want you to spill some tea. I want you to tell us something that people might not realize about her.
Ooh, something that people might not realize about
Yes,
Mallory.
please.
Hmm. Gosh, that's tough because I feel like she has been so, like, open, and much more, like, I don't know, much more herself on, like, social media and things like that. Mallory is terrifying, though. Like, she's a terrifying person. Like, I would never want to be a person who ends up on
Yep,
Mallory's bad side. Like,
yep,
I genuinely think that would be horrifying. She is a scary person. She's terrifying. Like, but she's so, and this is like the Enneagram 8 thing that her and I talk about a lot. She's so fiercely loyal to the people that she
yeah.
loves. And that is like a true Enneagram 8 descriptor. So like that's something that she's so fiercely loyal that yeah, like anytime that anybody does something wrong to people, to her or to people she loves, she will like I'm actually convinced she could commit murder and like and fully get away with it. So
It's true, and I would help her bury that body. I truly
fully,
would. I truly
absolutely,
would.
absolutely. But yeah, she would have like the mastermind behind the whole operation. So yeah.
Okay, so this didn't go how I was expecting it to go. I was hoping it was gonna be like an Amy Poehler-esque moment where I got Mallory to say what you were going to say. So let's just I posed this to Mallory asking what she would expect you to say to this. So let's hear what she has to say in her own words.
Okay, I don't know that Maggie would like spill tea on me because she wouldn't do that, but I do think if she
That's
had
correct.
something to talk about that was quirky that I have, it might be that
Her spoon
I am
thing?
undiagnosed
It's
neurodivergent or
it's her
ADHD.
spoon thing.
Particularly ask her about the spoons.
I knew it. Yeah, absolutely. It's the spoon thing. She's very particular about what spoon she'll use when she eats. So it's like it's a whole thing. She only uses one spoon in their entire household. So yeah, she's very much so. She's like, I'm undiagnosed neurodivergent. I'm like, listen, as somebody who's been living in a neurodivergent mind for my entire life, I can comfortably like look at people and be like, "You're neurodivergent," and she absolutely is. So
How does she know which like, is it just spoon that looks different?
it's like I think it's a very specific spoon. Yeah. So I'll have to have her like take a picture of it sometime and show
Okay.
me.
When she sent that in, I was like, "Okay, it's that I could
Yeah.
not have ever expected that. I've known
Mhm.
her for a long time, and I did not know this. So,
Yeah.
okay, this is
Mhm.
good information. This is great information." So, thank you for playing along with that. Like I said, there's a
That's
reason why
so fun.
Amy Poehler is a pro at what she does. That really whatever, roll with it.
That's so fun. I love that. That's
So,
amazing.
listen, when I was on Pretty Furious, the episode was centered on Alabama Power
Yeah.
and energy and the Public Service Commission and getting people to be aware of how they are really getting screwed over by their energy companies. And this originally was not a part of the episode, but I want to use this time to give you an update and to talk to the audience for a second
Yes.
about Alabama Power because yesterday, I think, will go down as one of the darkest days in Alabama history. So, to get everyone
Wow.
up to speed, back in February, I think I sent you the video, I think on TikTok, you were aware of this, but they tried to remove the Public Service Commission from the ballot.
Mhm.
So once they realized that people were speaking up, people were going on podcasts and talking about it and getting a lot of information out there, and there was a lot of traction, and people were waking up to how Alabama Power is literally stealing from people.
It's
Um,
crazy.
yeah, they tried to remove the Public Service Commission from the ballot. People spoke up. We killed the bill. We knew that wouldn't be the end of it. Well, long story short, they passed a bill yesterday in both chambers that will be going to Governor Mima's desk, and it essentially establishes an energy secretary who's not elected, who has the agenda setting power that's appointed by the governor. And then instead of electing three public service commission seats, we are electing 7 based on congressional district. But until
Wow.
2031, 4 of those seats will be appointed. So at least until 2031, the 3 people that we elect in November will be overruled by the 5 people that the governor will be appointing to the Public Service Commission. So the people of Alabama lost yesterday.
Oh,
Um,
that is so unfortunate.
I know, I know. It is so disheartening. It feels defeating. It's
Mhm.
horrible. And now it feels like the only option that we have is to
Is
elect
Doug Jones.
someone like Doug
Mhm.
Jones. Yes, someone
Yeah.
who we know will appoint an energy secretary who will make sure that Alabama Power will go through a rate case, because that is the only avenue to it now, is making sure that the energy secretary that gets appointed is someone who will put in a rate case on the agenda for the Public Service Commission. Like, our hands are
Yeah.
so tied that our fate rests with Doug Jones.
Yeah. So it's either 2031 or November.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
well, that's super unfortunate, but I know that, so much of your work that you did was incredibly impactful in helping people understand just like the bare bones, like helping me understand the basics of what a public service commission even does. And I had no clue that it functioned the way that it did. I
Yeah.
had no clue that this even really like was a thing that existed. So you've taught me so much.
Oh, thank
And
you.
and I'm in a completely different state, so I just think the work you're doing is amazing. So keep
Uh,
keep going. I know that that sucks, but like keep doing what you're doing in terms of like outing these people because they deserve it. So
I appreciate that a lot. I think honestly, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not woo woo in any way, but
I am.
so part of what I think happened is, number one, when they announced the bill, originally the first bill that we ended up getting killed, was they released it on my birthday. And I was like,
That's
are they trying to send
crazy.
a message? Because they released it on my birthday, and the exact bill that they put up for a debate and a vote was the exact theory and situation that we talked about on your podcast, about how there are only 10 states that elect public
Mhm.
service commissioners, and that was the framing around the original bill, that Alabama needs to modernize. And it's like, okay, yeah, sure, but you're using this as a scapegoat to make sure that your books aren't opened. I Alabama Power opening their books for a rate review is is Alabama's version, and I don't want this to be offensive to anyone who is a victim of Epstein, but it's like Alabama's Epstein files.
Oh,
It's like, if
fully, yeah.
those
Mhm.
books open, people are going to jail. Politicians will be going to
Oh,
jail.
yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm fully, like, of the belief that Alabama Power is conspiring against you, so, like, I'm a conspiracy theorist about Alabama Power, so
Look,
you may not be, I am. So,
I think they
that's
listened to your
fishy.
episode. I really
I'm
think they
sure
listened to
they
your
did,
episode.
yeah.
God. So anywho, that was the first headline I wanted to get into, because I wanted to give you an update. I wanted to give everyone else an update. But so much of the work that Mallory and I, when we became friends, it was really rooted in change and advocating for people who have less than or might not have a voice, getting involved in politics. You use your social media to do the same thing. You bring an element of humor into the work that you do, and it's appreciated. It really is appreciated. But there's so much news happening right now. There's so many headlines that are going on that, like, if you focus on too much, you're like, it's gonna hurt. It's
Yeah, it's
it's gonna
overwhelming.
hurt.
Mhm. Yeah,
So we need to
totally.
talk about a few of them, not all of them, but I did
Let's
pick
do
out
it.
3 that we need to talk about. And there is one thing that I want to specifically discuss, because what we see so often on Trump's social media is the fact that he uses his platform, his social media, the office of the president, to benefit and to make profit off of the American people, to manipulate the markets. His followers are quite
Mhm.
literally sheep. Like, that is
Yeah.
not a secret. But I'm convinced that he uses Caroline Levitt, he uses these primetime speeches not to actually share information, but to tell his people how they should feel, because he knows he's losing, and he
Yep.
doesn't want to lose his 33% base of the Republican Party.
Mhm.
So he's going to use these speeches. He's telling people how to feel and how to think. And so that is quite that's unfortunate. And I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think today is a prime example of how women specifically are the ones who will
Hmm.
take the brunt for everything that Donald Trump does. We just saw Pam Bondi was fired earlier today. Christine Nome pushed out of her position. I am sure that Caroline Leavitt will be next.
Yep.
It's no mistake that the women are being pushed out first, being pushed out of these positions where he has relied on them to be a mouthpiece for his own, thoughts, feelings, policies, etc. Um, so I mean, yeah, like, these people are just little minions of Trump who have, told the American public, here's how you should think and feel about certain policies and certain topics. And yeah, I mean, of course, the men are all going to stay unless they have some instance where someone like, Greg Bavino, is responsible and held responsible for killing people in broad daylight. Like that's the spectrum we're on now. So, it really is no mistake that these women who are his mouthpieces are taking the responsibility or taking the brunt of that. That's not to say that they aren't awful people, they are, but
Yeah.
I think it just kind of shows the very like inherent misogyny that's within the White House. But yeah, I mean, it's really wild that Trump just kind of gets up and like, his address last night, it's a big nothing burger. Like every single thing that he says is just pointless and meaningless, and he doesn't have any kind of like quality to his speeches or to the information he's
Yep.
providing the American people. It's not information, it's just rambling. Like the guy just likes to hear himself talk. So yeah, it's really like disheartening, I think, for the American people because we see this over and over again. Like this guy just doesn't stop. So yeah, I really wish that like the speeches soon would cease to exist because they're pointless. He doesn't share any new information with us every time he gets up and does these like big
Yep.
addresses or whatever. So, yeah.
Speaking of rambling and pointless speeches, let's take a listen to what he said last night.
This is a true investment in your children and your grandchildren's future. The whole world is watching, and they can't leave the power, strength, and brilliance. They just can't believe what they're seeing. They leave it to your imagination, but they can't believe what they're seeing, the brilliance of the United States military.
When I heard that, I genuinely was like, okay, no one understands what he's saying other than his followers.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
And I mean, and they've even been, brainwashed and coerced this whole time to kind of like understand his weird speech. I mean, that's
Yes.
a very large cornerstone of cults is to kind of create your own vernacular and your own sort of vocabulary that you follow. So, I mean, it's exactly what a cult would do. And that he does run a cult. So yeah, I mean, it's again a big nothing burger of like words jumbled together about how amazing America is when in reality, every other country is looking at us being like, you're all a bunch of fucking fools. So, yeah.
I genuinely thought the speech last night was going to be him pulling out of NATO or
I did
announcing
too.
like they
Mhm.
just dropped like a nuclear weapon or something. I thought it was going to be to that level.
I
Never
know.
did I think that he was going to justify the this illegal war in Iran by saying your grandkids are going to be grateful. Your grandkids are going to look at this one day and go, "Yeah, you know what? That was a good war." What?
As someone who's currently pregnant right now, I can guarantee you they will not. They will be like, "What the fuck was going on then?"
No, history will not be kind to him in this
God,
current
no.
moment.
Yeah.
No, and
Yeah.
it's really upsetting too, thinking about all these servicemen and women who are overseas for a war that's number one illegal. It's
Mhm.
expensive. There
Yeah.
are there are reports, I don't know if you've seen them, but that the casualties and the injuries are being underreported in America. And if you actually want to
Mhm.
know like the actual death toll or how bad the injuries are, you need to look to news in Europe because they're actually
Yeah.
accurately reporting how bad the situation is for America over there. And I grew up in a military family. I saw my dad deploy overseas numerous times. The last time he got deployed, I was actually working on Mallory's campaign
Wow.
in 2018. And I don't think anyone, unless you have lived it, you
Mhm.
cannot understand the impact of having to say goodbye to someone, not knowing if they are gonna come home, and you're mourning
Absolutely.
someone who is living for the consequence that might happen that hasn't happened yet, and it's the
Mhm.
fact that we're putting so many Americans through that experience right now for no
Yeah.
reason whatsoever other than he is trying to distract from
Mhm.
what's gonna be in what will inevitably come out one day with Epstein files. Like, it is disgusting, and it's really upsetting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very frivolous. Uh he's just using innocent American lives as pawns in his little game, and that's um we've seen already what this does to families in America. I mean,
Yeah.
a sorority sister of mine who I'm sure that you know
Yep. Yes.
from Alabama is lost her husband. She has 3 young children at home,
Mhm.
a set of twins that I think are 7 months old. Like, this
Yep.
affects these are real people. These are real families that he's, playing Russian roulette with their lives and with their livelihoods. And so yeah, I mean, it's insane to think that any of this is, like, patriotic, or any of this is, like, done in good faith because you love America. That's not what that is.
No, and they're so desperate to try to get support for this. They're now
Mhm.
using Jesus and the Bible and Christianity as the foundation for the
Right.
war.
Yeah, yeah. White Christian nationalism at its finest.
Exactly. Exactly. If you doubted the impact that white Christian nationalism is having on America, you look no further. It is
Yeah,
right there in front of us now.
she is alive and well. Yeah,
And
exactly.
unfortunately, his spiritual advisor is also alive and well, asking people to give 10% to her. Did you see that?
Unbelievable. No.
Oh my God, his spiritual advisor, the woman who has an office in the White House, was on YouTube last weekend saying that if you want to make it to heaven, if you want good blessings to come upon you, you have to give 10% of your money to me because it will help Israel. That was the message.
Oh my god, dude. And then wasn't I thought it was gonna be about Susie what's her face who has cancer and, like, something about I thought I read somewhere that she, like, asked people for donations or something. I'm like, "Just ask your boss."
I wouldn't be surprised. She cut all the funding for her own treatment. So
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
it's ridiculous. And then also, I know we talked a little bit about it just a few minutes ago, but the price tag on
Yeah,
this war is
$11,000 a second is what
oh
America's
it
spending on this war.
11,000. I didn't know that.
Mhm. Yeah, I read that yesterday. Isn't that a crazy stat? Mhm.
That fucking pisses me off
Yeah.
to no
Mhm.
end. I received an email yesterday. I received an email from the Department of Education pretty much saying that
I got one
my
too.
yeah, well, we're being
Yeah.
forced onto Trump's plan.
I was like, "Never."
What do we do? I did the math, and I starting, like, July 1st, if I don't sign up now, my student loan payments are gonna be over $1,000 a month.
No fucking way, dude. I literally am just like, "You're not getting any money out of me." Like, you're just not. Like, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna garnish my wages. You're not gonna, like, take my home from me. Like, this none of this would hold up in a federal court. Like, I'm just like, "No, you're not getting any of my money, dude." Like
So you would rather go to you literally would go to federal court before you pay.
absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not paying my fucking student loans. Absolutely not. No, not
Oh
under
my god,
this administration. Like, call me when we have a Democrat as president. Like, I'm not
yes.
fucking paying. No.
This is, like, the most empowering thing that I have heard in a minute. I'm so serious. I was at work yesterday in the office, and I received that email, and I had to stop what I was doing because I was hyperventilating, I was sweating, I was having a panic attack. I was like, "They're gonna take my car. I'm not gonna be able to afford my
Fuck
apartment."
no.
Like
No, I'm like, we have a criminal in the White House. Like, I'm not paying. No. I also think that no one should pay taxes this year. That's like my personal belief. And this is
I
not
agree.
financial advice, but I think no one should pay taxes. No taxation without representation, and also no student loans. So
I
that's my two
fully
cents.
I fully. Oh my God, Maggie for president,
That's what I'm not
please.
wrong about, Chad, is student loans.
I'm gonna need you to make it a little bit more juicier than that because I'm not wrong about that either. It is crazy. They are legally, by definition, predatory loans.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not
Yeah.
paying that.
No.
Hell no.
No. You
Apparently
can't
they
make
have
me.
$11,000 per second. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
$11,000 per second for this war, but they don't have the money for student loan relief. We can't fund
Mhm.
healthcare.
Mhm.
SNAP benefits have been on the chopping block. That leads into the next clip that I want to play you to get your opinion on.
Yeah.
Because the United States can't take care of daycare. That has to be up to a state. We can't take care of daycare. We're a big country. We have 50 states. We have all these other people. We're fighting wars. We can't take care of daycare. You got to let a state take care of daycare, and they should pay for it too. They should pay. They have to raise their taxes, but they should pay for it. And we could lower our taxes a little bit to them to make up. But it's not possible for us to take care of daycare. Medicaid, Medicare, all these individual things, they can do it on a state basis. You can't do it on a federal. We have to take care of one thing: military protection.
What?
Yeah.
We can't.
Unbelievable.
I never, from a sitting president of the United States who has figured out a way to break every single constitutional safeguard that America
Mhm.
has. I never want to hear an elected official ever say, we can't do this.
Yeah,
That shit
100%.
pisses me off.
Yeah, especially with, again, an unconstitutional war that he started. Um, it's he's playing with all of this money, and what have we spent on this war already? I think I read it was somewhere in the billions already that we've spent on
Yeah.
this war, and you know, the Iraq war was, I think, 100 some million a year or something like that. And so the fact that we've already blown all of this money on this war, he's saying that, one of Republicans' favorite things to do is to double down on the individualism of it all and to make everything an individualistic choice. So this applies across the board. This applies to healthcare. This applies to daycare. This applies to when they're talking about Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP benefits, all of these things that are, meant to be things that a country just does for its citizens because that's what a country is supposed to do. That's what a government is designed to do, is to take care of their constituents, take care of their citizens. Um, they say every single time without fail, leave it up to the states, leave it up to the states. And that's a scapegoat so that they can
Yeah.
get out of responsibility for that thing.
Mhm.
Um, and it's again kind of like this pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality that Republicans have about what it means to take care of people. Um, so yeah, I mean, and they'll that has been a cornerstone of the Republican Party for a very, very long time, since the Reagan era. So yeah, that whole kind of concept of individualism is exactly what he's speaking on there when he wants states to take over and take responsibility for it. It completely reduces any risk or responsibility that he has, which is something that narcissists love to do. So
No, beautifully said. And it's crazy to me that there's this whole conversation happening for decades about individualism and let the states take care of it. Because when the states do take care of it, you see what he does in Minnesota. You see what,
Minneapolis, yeah.
yeah, you see what they're doing in Fulton County in Georgia with the voter
Mhm.
roll.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
what is it? Do the states handle it, or can the federal government do something? Because it's not, the math ain't mathin'.
Yeah, the states get punished for handling it. So why would they continue to do that? Yeah.
It's just it's mind-blowing, and then on top of that, I truly don't think that he fully grasps the idea how his voters are actually, like, waking up to this idea that he does not have their best interests at heart, that he's actually
Mhm.
not America first like they voted for. The
Yeah.
and Cokehead was on my podcast a few weeks ago, and
Mhm.
he beautifully said that, like, we're not agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's agreeing with us. I'm like watching these interviews with her. I'm like, she's actually making sense all of a sudden.
Yeah.
What world, like, in no world did I ever think that that is a sentence that would come out of my mouth. Like, when you've lost her,
Mhm.
like, you're in
Yeah.
trouble.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's, I don't respect Marjorie Taylor Greene because she
No.
has had plenty of time to figure all of this out. Um, I do think it's worth noting what she's saying and what she's doing. I mean, I certainly don't think it's not nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that she probably can speak to people who, feel like they were maybe duped by this man. It's really easy for a lot of us to say, and this is something I try to be better about, although my empathy radar for Trump supporters is like real fucking low. But like something I really try to think about is like a lot of these people really did just believe this man. Like a
Yeah.
lot of these people fell prey to cult tactics. And
Yeah.
so that's sad and that sucks. Um, and the left does nobody any favors by saying, well, you're all so stupid. And I'm guilty of this. I say this all the time. I'm like, Republicans are fucking dumb. Like, I say that constantly. So, like, hand raised on this. Like, I'm a part of the problem. But, like, I think having somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene being able to speak to those people in a way that makes sense to them, in a way that like they really connect with her message and with what she's saying, I think that's helpful. So like I really like I appreciate what she's doing. And I also am like, how the fuck could it have taken you this long? How could it have
Yeah.
taken you almost a decade to do this? But I'm glad she's getting out, So
Yeah, I'm glad she's getting out too, but I'm like that I don't like saying, like, no one's redeemable. I've never liked saying that, but I'm also like, the damage that you've done is kind of irreversible.
It's completely irreversible, and also, like, I'm so judgmental of you. Like, I'm
Yes.
so judgmental of you
Like,
people.
yes,
So
I'm so happy that you've woken up and you're kind of on the right side
good
of
for
history for a
you. Yeah.
moment, but also fuck you.
Yeah, but also what the fuck? Yeah, like, the fact that it took us this long is the really disappointing part, so
Yeah, yeah, and I when I was listening to her, there was something that she said that I thought, "You know what? I actually kind of agree with that, actually." And it was the fact that there's nothing America First about not helping American families when you can drop $1,000,000 bombs on innocent
Mhm.
civilians in foreign countries. That
Yeah. Mhm.
you
Yeah,
you you
Marjorie
can't pay
Taylor
for
Greene saying
daycare.
that, that's crazy. Yeah, that's nuts because that's a very, like, this whole concept of, like, people first,
Yeah,
that is a very, like, what people may or may not understand about that is that that's a leftist and progressive way of thinking. Like,
yes.
thinking that you're gonna put people in your country first is the thesis of being a progressive. That is what that means, is to take
It,
care of the people in your
y-
country.
yeah, it's kind of like the what is it? The horseshoe theory
The
that like
horseshoe theory, yeah.
you become so extreme, you're actually like kind of on the other side
Yeah,
that you've been
right, right.
shitting on for so long.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
crazy, and I think what she's trying to get at, and what so many people are trying to get at, is just that people in America are hurting so bad right now.
Mhm. Yeah,
The hurt,
absolutely.
the hurt is real, and what Trump is trying to do is convince his followers and his sheep, essentially,
Mhm.
that in no way is rising affordability, in no way is insane energy costs, rising gas prices, none of that is attributed to his actions in Iran, and we know that's a lie.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
know that is not true. That is a lie, and people are having to make, and I know this from the screenshots and conversation I've had with people here in Alabama with the whole Alabama power situation, but people are having to make quite literally life altering sacrifices just
Yeah.
to survive,
Yep. Mhm.
just to survive. Um,
Yeah.
with that, I'm gonna play the next clip.
Yeah.
Now tops $4 a gallon. In Florida, it's $4.16, up nearly $1.30 since the war began. It's worse out west, $4.92 a gallon in Nevada and nearly $6 a gallon in California. In Indianapolis, Curtis Davis, a delivery driver, now tightening his belt.
The stuff that I want to do with my kids, like I have to limit that now because of funds, I have to pay more funds for gas throughout the week.
In Atlanta, Emily Locke making tough decisions.
Obviously, it's affecting our family. Like, we are tightening up our budget, not going out to eat as much, watching where we're spending our money.
President is.
So I want to ask you, are you having to make changes to your life right now, being pregnant and your family planning and all of that is what's happening right
Mhm.
now, the situation with affordability? Are you having to make tough decisions on what you do and what you don't do?
Yeah, I mean, I recognize that I'm in a very, very privileged position,
Mhm.
in the sense that, my husband has a very stable job. I work as a content creator full time. That's what I do. But that does afford me quite a bit of flexibility.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that the choices we are making right now are life altering. My husband and I were very intentional about when we decided to start growing our family. We were very intentional about the things that we did leading up to that point. One of which was kind of like getting a grip on our finances. So
Yeah.
we are, I feel very prepared in the sense that, we feel ready to bring a child into the world financially. We also, like, not for nothing, live in an area that's incredibly affordable. Like, we live in
Mm.
an area that, childcare is not near the cost that it is for other people across the country.
Yeah.
So these are things that, again, I recognize the privilege in all of this. Life altering decisions, no, but decisions for sure
Yeah.
about, okay, um, does this mean that our grocery budget needs to change? Does this mean that we need to maybe skip out on a trip that we had planned
Yeah.
taking? Things like that that are not, by any stretch, the decisions that other Americans have to make, but are decisions nonetheless. So I think that, it's so unfortunate seeing people who, delivery drivers who need to tighten up time with their family and things that they're doing like that, that's heartbreaking. Like, nobody wants to see that. That is, it's just the antithesis of, like, taking care of your country and taking care of your
Yeah.
people. And so, yeah, it's really disheartening to see things like that.
I think what you just said is so important because what you just showed is there's a wide spectrum, right? You
Mhm.
are affected just a little bit by having to change your habits with grocery spending or going out to eat.
Sure.
Then you
Mhm.
have people like we saw in that video who are having to change vacation plans or family plans, whatever. And
Yeah.
then you have the people who in a lot of rural places don't have the privilege that we have and they're making
Mhm.
life altering decisions.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
no one is untouched by what's going on
Mhm.
right now.
Not a single person. Yeah, unless you're in the top 1%, like, there is no one who is not feeling this in some way.
Yeah.
Like, be that through higher grocery costs, through higher energy bills, through your gas price changing, whatever it is, like, people are feeling it in some capacity.
Oh my god, I just had a thought from yesterday that just popped up into my head. I was taking an Uber and the Uber cost, 37-ish dollars,
Wow.
and, that's fine, work paid for it, but when I
Yeah.
got into the Uber driver told me that I was his first trip that he's ever done. He is doing
Oh,
Uber
wow.
to make ends meet,
Extra money, yeah.
um,
Mhm.
and so he told me, like, "I know I'm only making $6 right now, but, like, that's gonna go a long way," and I said, "Wait, you're only getting $6?" And he goes, "Yeah, when it popped up on my phone, it said $6." I was like, "You
Mhm.
have no idea what this trip costs." And he's
Yeah.
like, "No, is it not $6?" I was like, "No, this is a $37 trip, and on my
Yep.
end, I don't know what your share is." And he's like, "Well, on my end, I can't see what the trip total is." And so you have these people who are doing things like Ubering to make ends meet for their families, but yet they're
Mhm.
still being taken advantage of from these multi-billion-dollar
Yep.
corporations.
Mhm.
I
Yep.
had no idea that that was the structure of these
Mhm.
contract worker apps. I had no
Yeah.
idea that. Did you
Yeah,
know
very
that?
similar. I did, yeah, very similar to, like, Instacart. Instacart operates on a very similar, like, structure where, you don't know what the driver or the shopper is getting, I don't know if they can see your order total, but they certainly know well, I guess they would know your total because they have to pay for it, but yeah, another situation where, like, they're not getting near, the the money that like you would think for something like that. You know, if I
Yeah.
spend $130 in groceries, like I have no idea what the driver is getting, you know, from that. And so, yeah, but I do know that the corporation still is benefiting greatly from that. So like, you know, I can speculate all day on what the person who is doing the work is making. But the owners of the company certainly are getting their fair share. So, you know, it's really sad to see things like that.
That makes me sick. Maggie, I want to ask, how is your pregnancy going?
How much time do you have? No, it's fine, Chad. It's fine. I don't love being pregnant. It's not my favorite thing in the world. I made a TikTok about this, talking about
Yeah.
like my experience with pregnancy. And listen, like I recognize again the privilege in that statement. I know plenty of people who have had struggles with, you know, conceiving and fertility and things like that. And I'm not trying to like take away from that experience at all. I think that that can exist, and also women can not enjoy pregnancy. And I think that honestly, I think a lot of women don't enjoy it, at least from kind of like what I've heard and from what other people have, you know, messaged me and commented on
Yeah.
things like that. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's definitely not my favorite thing in the world. It has been a really interesting time to be pregnant during all of this. I mean, it has been, I think, a masterclass in like how you handle stress and how you can function with like what is going on geopolitically. So yeah, it's been a journey, but we're kind of getting to the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm about
Sure.
26 weeks now. So yeah, we're getting there.
In your bio on Instagram, you say pregnant in Trump's America.
Yeah.
What Talk to me about that. What is it like being pregnant in Trump's America? You just talked about it a little bit. You said being pregnant at this time
hmm
right now. What does
Yeah.
that mean?
It's weird because it's like as a progressive person in Trump's America, you know, I think that people like when they hear that you're pregnant, they automatically assume like I think the like automatic assumption is like, well, what kind of person, like what kind of progressive, what kind of liberal would decide to have a baby
Yeah.
in the world that we're living in right now? Like how could you ever possibly decide that? Um, and I understand that question completely. I understand where people are coming from when they say, like, no sane person would have a child right now, and no sane person would bring a baby into the world. Um, you know, and because we live in such a country right now where the right is so pronatalist and they are so hell-bent on trying to convince women to have children, I think people automatically assume that I'm like maybe a Republican when I say that I'm pregnant. And I'm like, no, no, no. Yeah. So I mean, it's super interesting. And I think seeing the kind of like constant attack on women and on women's rights and on specifically our bodily autonomy and our healthcare rights, that's been really challenging. You know, seeing how women really more broadly are just treated in America right now is really really tough
Yeah.
while pregnant, and I'm pregnant with a girl no less, you know. So so I think that makes it even more interesting, you know, watching things like Inside the Manosphere and like, you know, all of these right wing like alt right, you know, misogynistic pieces of content. I think is a really it teaches you a lot of patience, I think, and teaches you a lot of like boundary setting about what you can
Sure.
and cannot like consume and take, you know. So yeah, I try not to like let it consume my days completely, but it's certainly hard to ignore.
Maggie, one of the most heartbreaking experiences that I had recently was being told that someone was shocked that I actually was not a Republican, but I'm a Democrat. And then people started attacking me. They literally started I'm gonna start crying right now. They started attacking me in my DMs, being like, "Wait, I used to think that you're a Republican. I for the longest time thought you're a Republican." I think there was like
Wow.
over 40 responses that I got from people being like, "Yeah, no, I thought you're a Republican." So I just want to
That's
say,
crazy.
if when people think you're a Republican for being pregnant right now, I don't know what it's like to be pregnant. I will never know what it's like to be pregnant, but I know what it's like to be called a
To be accused
Republican.
of being a
And it
Republican.
is not fun. It like
I yeah.
like I literally I was in such a funk. like I felt like I was living a lie. I sat in
Yeah.
silence. I was like really just replaying my entire life in my head. Like, what have I done to put that air out into the world?
Yeah, I mean, I think if people like, watch a video where I'm talking about like a baby registry or whatever, they may gather from that like, oh, she's pregnant. Okay, maybe like what is she? Is she a dem or
Yeah.
or what? And then I think if they watch any other video of mine, they're like, ah, okay, got it. So that's my hope is that people aren't confused for too long about my political affiliation.
Sure.
But yeah. I get that though. It's tough.
Well, speaking of your videos, one thing that I have like really appreciated recently, and I hope I don't offend when I say this, but I feel like there have been moments where your hormones have been on full display.
Oh,
Um,
fully.
so with that, I do want to address this video that you posted recently.
Oh, good.
These are things that are
Oh,
illegal
wait.
that I, as a pregnant person, need right now. The ability to curb stomp one man in every major metropolitan city in the United States. Alternatively, murder. The ability to severely vandalize Trump Tower in Chicago. The ability to set something aflame inside of Mar-a-Lago. The ability to blow something up. I'm really unclear on what, but explosives feel like a really good option right now. I think performing surgery on someone would be really useful. I can't explain too much about that, but I feel like it would help. A quaalude with zero consequences. The
Fully.
ability to verbally assault a male employee at Home Depot.
Based on a true
and
experience.
money laundering. Thank you.
Okay, so do you stand by these statements?
I do, absolutely, 110%. Yeah, yeah. And honestly, you know what? I'm also not wrong about any of them. They would fix
No,
all
you're
of my
not.
problems.
No, you would not. I there. Okay, Home Depot story, real quickly. What happened?
Oh, yeah, I just, like, had an experience there where I walked in and, like, you go into these home stores as a woman, and it's like everyone is asking you, like, all the fucking time, like, "Do you need help finding anything? And you're just like, "Everybody leave me the fuck alone. Like, I know where I can find the caulk. Like, it's fine," you know? And this guy was like I basically went up to him and I was like, "Hey, can you just tell me where the grout's at? I just need, like, just grout." And he was like, "Pre-mixed grout?" And I was like, "Yeah, like, just show me tell me where the grout's at. You don't have to ask me what kind, like, I don't need any help with that, like, I can figure that out." And it just, like, irked the shit out of me that he asked a couple of follow-up questions, and I was like, "Show me where the fucking grout's at, like, just tell me what aisle it's in." I don't know, it was like he was using it as an opportunity to, like, mansplain the
Yeah.
aisle system at Home Depot, and I just was like, "God damn it, man, like, leave me the fuck alone. I'm just trying to, like, get some home improvement done." So, yeah, I did not love that.
So we also have to say that's cock with an L.
Yeah, not COCK. Yeah, that would be CAULK. Mhm, mhm, yeah.
Oh my
Mhm.
god. So with that video, I also want to ask, other than Home Depot man, have there been any other men who have just made it like unnecessarily difficult during your pregnancy so far? I hope the answer
I've
is
been
no.
yeah, I was gonna say, not really. I've been really fortunate to not have, like, any, like, bizarre encounters, with men. I will tell you though, I think, like, women are really interesting while you're pregnant. Like, especially if they are somebody like a person who has had children of their own. Specifically, like, I'll go as far to say as, like, boomer women are really interesting while you're pregnant. Like, they are like always down to throw in their 5 cents, even like unasked for, like their unsolicited advice. They just like love tossing that at you. They love telling you stories about like how things were different back when they had children. And it's like fucking obviously like that's how time works. And so like there's just like a lot of really interesting experiences in conversation that I've had with like
Yeah.
specifically boomer women, yeah, that have been very like bizarre. And just sort of like, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's just how it was when we were pregnant, like when we were having babies." And I'm like, "Cool." And just because it was that way for you does not mean that it has to be that way for everyone else. So yeah, that's been kind of weird. But
So one thing that I want to touch on before we start wrapping up the episode, it kind of relates to what you said earlier in the pregnancy conversation about how it's such a unique time to be pregnant and
Mhm,
how you're bringing someone into this world, but not only are you bringing a child into this world, you're bringing a girl into the world
yeah,
with all the
mhm,
troubles that are happening right now. One of those things that we all have to be aware of is the SAVE Act. And I know a lot of people think the
mhm,
SAVE Act is dead on arrival. It's not going to pass. But what we know is kind of like with Alabama Power, the first bill got killed. They ended up getting their
mhm.
way. They got creative in how they silenced millions of people in Alabama. And I
Yep.
firmly believe with everything in me that the Republican Party, that MAGA is not going to let the SAVE Act die. And right now, there are 69 million women in this country that have legal names that don't match their birth certificate because they were changed after they got married. And the
Mhm.
SAVE Act would essentially require all documents to match your legal name in order to register to vote. So I'm curious, did you know when you're getting your marriage certificate that it could potentially one day cost you your vote?
Had no clue. And I think, I live in a blue state, and so I feel very fortunate, to live in a blue state, but I also, like, recognize that that doesn't save anybody,
Yeah.
that when we think about things like voting
Yep.
rights and abortion bans and, our healthcare rights as women, like, those are not things that are inherently guaranteed just because I live in Illinois,
Yeah.
right? So, um yeah, I mean, I had no clue, and, I wanted to change my name, like, I wanted to add, I kept my maiden name, I hyphenate my last name, so I wanted to add my husband's last name, that was something I really wanted for myself. He had no, like, input or say in that whatsoever. That was a process I did completely independently, and so, yeah, I mean, I think it's really crazy now to think back on that and, like, all of the hoops I jumped through to change my name and, like, get new driver's license and passport and all of that, and now that that could potentially have its own detriments. So, yeah, it's very frustrating.
And you and Mallory have been very vocal on social media about the importance of understanding the SAVE Act, specifically for women.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I don't want to out anyone close to me, but there are people who are close to me who had no idea that the SAVE Act even existed. And that
Oh,
within and
yeah.
of itself is a privilege to be able to say that you
Mhm.
live in such a comfortable world that you don't even have to be aware that they're actively trying
Yeah.
to remove your right to vote. So, what should people understand about why that matters right
Mhm.
now?
Yeah, I mean, the SAVE Act is not a proposed bill that is going to reduce, quote, "election fraud." So, like, illegal voting, if you will.
Yeah.
That is not an issue that we have in our country. A lot of people think that it is. That's completely false information. I just sent some really great literature from the ACLU about, uh, kind of like misinformation around voting and around like the data we do have about people who try to vote when they don't
Mhm.
have the right to vote. So and the numbers are very, very low, so people would be shocked to know like the actual data and statistics around this kind of concept of like illegal voting. um so I think that's one piece of it, is that this is not a problem that we have, but this is something, a bill that they're trying to pass that is allegedly going to solve that problem that doesn't exist in the first
Yeah.
place. What the SAVE Act is going to do, what it is at its core, is a voter disenfranchisement bill. Like it's designed to disenfranchise a huge chunk of voters, not just women, but people of color, people who live in low income areas, people who like maybe have been a felon or like have had some kind of charge on their record. Like this bill is meant to remove a huge chunk of people
Yeah.
from voting and keep them from voting. um there's a huge chunk of America that thinks women should not be able to vote. And so
And they're saying it
um
out loud.
and
They're
they
they're
yeah,
they're vocal
yeah.
about that.
Yes, which is jarring. I mean, in such a bizarre, like, belief system to have. but like these are not serious people, right? Like these are not people who like believe that women are people also. So I think that's another huge piece of it that people need
Yeah.
to understand is that this is trying to remove people out of the equation of voting. And one thing I love that Mallory always says is that if you have great policy, you don't need to keep people from voting. And that is exactly how I
Yes.
feel about the Republican Party is that if you have great policies that will positively impact a good chunk of Americans, you don't need infrastructure in place that will keep a large chunk of Americans from voting.
Yeah. Well, one thing I need people to realize is they need to close the loop on this. You hear about the Save Act, you hear about the voter rolls
Mhm.
in Georgia, you hear about TSA being put at airports, you see Trump's executive order banning mail-in ballots. And when you close the loop, you see that they're testing the waters
Yep.
for this upcoming midterms. Okay, so take ICE out of airports and put them at your local precincts. Remove people's ability to vote by mail. Remove women's right to
Mhm.
vote at the polls. Like what all does that do? It ensures that their policy is so bad, but they're still going to win an election because they have rigged it right in front of us. And I need people to
Yeah.
really think about putting all these pieces together because it paints a full picture that should
Yeah.
terrify everyone.
Yeah. It's all connected. I mean, everything that is going on in America and really like globally in terms of our politics, it's all connected. There
Yeah.
is always a link that will bring one piece back to another. So I encourage people to like really use their critical thinking skills when things like this come about. Like this is not a bill like what is the problem we're trying to solve? The problem that they are trying to solve does not exist based
Yeah.
on the data and the facts that we have. And
Yep.
so, therefore, there is something underneath it that they're trying to do instead, which is how, unfortunately, a vast majority of Republican legislation operates now.
So, Maggie, listen, as we round out this episode, first off, I appreciate you sharing information about your pregnancy and tell us about your
Yeah.
experience and informing people on the SAVE Act and the severity of it. But we need some levity. We need some light in this moment. So I came up with a game. I talked about in an episode recently about how I should probably see a therapist and I should probably be medicated. And I am not. So this game kind of spawned from that comment. What would it be like to be in therapy? And I know that sometimes they show photos and they say, "What do you see?" So this game is called "What Do You See?" I have
Amazing.
6 images of individuals, and I just want you to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. What do you see when you see these individuals? So is that
Okay.
fine? Are you okay with playing this
I'm
game?
I'm so nervous for what's gonna leave my mouth when
It's
I
that
answer
is
these.
fine. This is therapy.
Perfect.
Anything goes.
Perfect.
I just want you to be honest about what it is that you see and that you feel, okay?
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so here we go. Number 1, what do you see?
Tits.
I was
I was
hoping.
so ready for that one. I was like, "That's it."
Did I wanna know why the nipples were like one was like this way and the other was like this way with did you notice that in the images of her husband? That
I
the, like,
did, that
nipples were
was
like
so jarring. Yeah, it was like the nipples were super lopsided.
you're
I
fine.
also am very confused about the, like, duck faces and, the
Yep,
pout we're doing.
yep.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting, and unfortunately, like, her poor children should not have to deal with this, but she is a huge bitch, so whatever.
I do not feel bad. You get what you deserve in this life,
Mhm.
and,
You
I'm
reap what
s
you sow.
exactly, and I'm so tired of people being so dangerous and harmful to my community, to the gay community, and then
Mhm.
turning around and doing shit like this. Like, I'm so glad that came out.
And
People
on
needed to
Trans
know.
Day of Visibility, no less. Like, the timing was immaculate.
I wanna know how long they had those photos and
I
if they did that on
know.
purpose.
I know, 100%.
I want to be a part of that conversation. Okay, so that was number 1. The word that came to mind was tits. So
Mhm.
that's perfect. So then okay, number 2.
Oh, Saw.
So yes! Jigsaw.
Jigsaw, yeah.
She quite literally is a swamp monster. You know who she reminds me of?
Who?
Old Greg. By the way, the first I
Oh
forget.
my God. That is brilliant.
So let me just say, first photo was Christy Nome. If you couldn't like use contextual clues, I like to think that my audience is smart enough to use context
Yeah.
clues. Image number 2 is Laura Loomer, Swamp Monster, Jigsaw, Old Greg.
These people desperately need new injectors. Like, their injectors are so fucking bad. Like, whoever is still doing Laura Loomer's work is should be fired immediately. It's
Okay,
so awful.
can I counter that?
Sure.
No, please keep giving them
What?
bad injectables. Like if I'm walking down the street, I want to know if you're a safe person or a bad person.
Fully. Yeah, that's actually so fair. That's so fair. Yeah.
And so image number 3 on that same vein.
Oh, she's horrifying. I'm so sorry.
Savannah Chrisley. What comes to
Oh
your
my
mind?
God.
What do you
I
see?
didn't know that was why does she look so different? Okay, the first word that comes to mind when I think of her is ice rolling, and I'll explain why. Like, she looks incredibly puffy. Like, she really looks like she maybe needs an ice bath, or there's some swelling happening. I don't know. But she looks like she needs one of those ice rollers.
No tea, no shade. I believe she is now on the GLP-1 that she sells through her Good RX.
Sure.
So no body shaming there. This is
No
a
tea, no
photo that
shade. She does just look a little swollen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This was about a year ago, and that was her
Mhm.
injectables and all that fun stuff. So,
Fascinating.
um,
God, these injectors are just doing such terrible work. It's like if she had a reasonable injector, that injector would do something with her jaw and would help out with that situation, and also with her her lip oh my God, it's so bad. Okay.
so I'm using her photo in this because you do not get a pass for being a sellout and sacrificing morals and ethics for a paycheck from MAGA. So
Oh my
you
God, I
want
can't
to
wait.
you want to sell your morals and ethics, then we're gonna call you out. So that was image number
Mhm.
3. Okay, so we're going on to image number 4. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We got Nancy Mace.
Drugs. I think that
Yes.
this woman is on meth. I really do. Every time I see well, first of all, every time I see any image of this woman, it's completely against my will. I never actively want to see footage of her, and I always see it. But
Yes.
she always looks like she's tweaking the fuck out, man.
Because
She
she
always
is.
yes, she is on something, and I don't know what it is, but that's
Maggie,
tea.
can I tell you it's really 2 words, but
What
what
drug
comes to
she's
mind?
on?
Yeah, yeah. No, we don't have time to list all of that out, but I do want to tell you the word that comes to mind when I see her, and
What is
specifically
it?
this photo. It's spoiled milk.
Yes, Republicans age like milk.
Horribly.
They age so poorly. Yeah, that's a really good one.
Not only does
Mhm,
she look like spoiled milk, I swear to God, I can smell her through this photo.
mhm.
I'm
It's like
sorry.
Kid Rock.
I know you're
Mhm.
pregnant, and I don't want to
No, I can smell Kid Rock through the screen. It's a
Yes.
thing. Mhm,
Yes.
mhm. Yeah, he smells like dick cheese. Anyway.
And there we
No
go.
tea, no shade.
This episode now has the explicit marker on it. Perfect.
I'm so sorry.
No, I love it. It feels spicy. Okay, so now we're down to our final 2. Okay, next one.
Uh, homosexual.
Gay. He is
Incredibly gay.
gay as hell. So I just are you able to zoom? No, you're not able to zoom. Okay, so again, podcast affairs. I did not know you cannot zoom on into a photo. There is something about a gay man. You do not have to have a gaydar to look at this photo and
Absolutely not.
understand that God made him that way. God made him gay. The eyelashes, the
Uh-huh.
eyes,
It's
the
the smile
cheeks.
for me. It's the cheeks, yeah.
That
Mhm.
is a gay man. God does not make them like that straight. I'm so sorry.
When they say, your sexuality is not a choice, this should be the photo that they show with that. Mhm.
110%.
Mhm.
110%. I just want to know what his life would be like if he came out.
Me too. I wanna know, who he'd be married to, what
Yep.
fabulous bars he'd be attending. I would love to know. Mhm.
Oh,
What he would wear. Mm.
Yeah, I would love to know because right now they're blackmailing him, and what he's saying is not by choice. I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you that much. Okay, we're on to
Incredible.
our final one, and I think I know what you're gonna say. So I really hope that that you give me what I want in this one. Okay, here we go.
Sweet baby angel. I adore I call him my emotional support billionaire.
Yes.
He is my emotional support billionaire. I Someone said to me the other day, I would love to see, oh, it was on our last podcast episode. James Crocker said to me, I would love to see JB Pritzker run for president in 2028. And I said, you will have to pry JB Pritzker from my cold, dead hands.
You
He's not fucking leaving Illinois. Okay. Like if he like, listen, he'd be a great president, but if he leaves Illinois, I'll be devastated. Like I I just can't do it. I can't do
so
it.
by the way, the last photo was Lindsey Graham. We did not say his name. That was my bad. Again, I
It's fine.
whatever.
People probably could also put that together.
I really
Context
hope. And
clues.
so this one's JB Pritzker. So okay, can you explain to me your love of your emotional support billionaire, please?
Yeah. Okay. So, well, first of all, like JB Pritzker in a lot of ways has like really reminds me of my dad. And so like so there's that piece of it, which is
Oh.
like a people have asked me before on like interviews and podcasts and stuff like do you have any daddy issues? And like the crazy thing about me is like if you look at any of my content online, you'd be like, this girl's so mentally ill. Like, what the fuck is wrong with her? She must have daddy issues. I have like absolutely zero. Like, I have like the healthiest relationship with my father, and he's like the best man ever. So I don't. And so JB Pritzker reminds me a lot of my dad. Secondly, when I moved to Illinois, JB Pritzker was running for his second term as governor.
Mhm.
And he was like the first vote I cast in Illinois. Like I was just so excited to vote for him. I loved him. So that's another piece of it that I feel very like connected to him in that way. And lastly, I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna be a billionaire in America, then like the least you could do is like, I don't know, fucking like run for office and like be a Democrat. You know what I mean? Like that's sort of my thought is like the least you could do for humanity is to like run as a Democrat. And
Yep.
so I
Yep.
really appreciate that about JB Pritzker.
Maggie, will you ask me who my emotional support billionaire is?
Who is your emotional support billionaire, Chad?
Maggie, I want you to take a guess.
Is it Beyonce?
No, it's Taylor Swift. I'm so sorry.
Oh
It's
my
Taylor
God, I
Swift.
was gonna say Taylor Swift first, and then I backtracked to Beyonce. Gosh, go with your gut. That's fair. That's fair. I was recently interviewed by I did a very brief little snippet in the New York Times about Taylor Swift and about a video I made regarding her and like how I kind of think she's problematic now, but that's a whole other conversation for another
Oh,
day. I know, I'm so sorry.
will you come
Like
on like next week and do a mini episode with me?
I would love that. I just think that if you know what? I would have a lot more respect for Taylor Swift if she would just like get on with running for office already and like get the ship turned around. Like, come on,
Sure.
sister, you've got the money. So,
Sure.
yeah.
I will say what one okay. And I get in fights on TikTok and I know we're like way over time. So like I swear to God I'll wrap it up.
No, you're
Um,
fine.
but I get in fights with people on TikTok about this because I'm like, she's like, I don't believe there's a like so-called ethical billionaire, but
There's not. Yeah.
I don't think she's a problematic billionaire. And in that same vein, I'm like, she got her money from from being a businesswoman, and I don't think she like exploited anyone. Now, does she release too much merch? Has she released like
Mhm.
too many CDs to get to that point? Sure, but we do have free will at that point. But
Mhm.
she did not do anything. She did not steal from anyone, and for that, I can respect her for it. Um,
Sure.
but God, I wish she would be more vocal.
I know. Well, and I have to counter that with like we like with people like Taylor Swift, like we actually don't know if she's like there is no ethical billionaires, and I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Um, because of the sheer fact that like we have actually no idea what was exploited in the process of her doing things that she's done. So like it's very
Mm,
difficult for us to know if like, you know, say her merch line, like was that made in a sweatshop in like
exactly.
Indonesia? Like we
Yeah.
don't know, you know, so and I mean we probably do know, we could probably figure it out. But like whereas like JB Pritzker, for example, like was born into his wealth. And so like that's not necessarily his fault.
Are we about to
So
have a billionaire standoff?
I think it's my emotional support billionaire versus your emotional support billionaire.
It's on, Maggie.
We should debate this sometime. I think that would be so fun.
It's on.
And Mallory can bring hers, which I'm sure is Beyonce.
Mallory's would be Beyonce, and I think she would probably that episode would end in me crying. I guarantee it. I guarantee it because you know what? We started with Mallory. We're gonna end with damn Mallory because on her campaign in 2018, I invited her to come to. I received floor tickets from a friend to a Taylor Swift concert in Atlanta on their Reputation tour, and I was like, Maggie, I messed up, and I tried to parlay it and act like God. So Maggie, I told Mallory in 2018, I was like, you're working so hard. You need a break from the campaign. Come with me to the Taylor Swift concert, floor seats, blah, blah, blah. You know that girl.
She said no.
No, she said yes, but
Oh.
girl is not the word I want to be using right now. She left early. She did not finish the concert.
Leaving early, also not for nothing, from the Reputation tour is crazy work because that was like my favorite part of the Eras tour was the Reputation part. Like that was so good. So that's wild.
I think in the years since, I have never let her live it down. I've never let her. She has not forgotten it. Let's just say
that's crazy work. Yeah,
but
that's crazy.
I think she does now regret it. So I will take that as a win. I know she has like some vinyl of Taylor Swift, so
sure.
She has redeemed herself.
Okay, perfect. We love to see it.
All right, Maggie, you knew this was coming. I end all episodes by asking my guest what it is that they're not wrong about. So, Maggie, what are you not wrong about?
I think I'm not wrong about women being the superior species. And this is a hill I'll die on as somebody who is now 65% of the way through the pregnancy journey. What women's bodies do during pregnancy and during the childbirth process is fucking bonkers, first of all. Obviously, I knew everything that, like, I'm one of 5 kids. I knew how this entire journey would go. I knew, like, I knew all of the things. And I really don't think that like people can conceptualize it until maybe they've like witnessed a partner go through it.
Yeah.
Since if they've done it themselves, it is a bonkers fucking journey. Like being pregnant, like we are far too nonchalant about women being pregnant. Like we're just like, oh yeah, you're pregnant. Cool. Amazing. And I'm like, I just built a spine. Like what the fuck are we talking about? Like, like all the male had to do was like, just do a thing, and like do it in the right place. Like that's really all that like had to happen there, So that's a hill I'll die on. Women are superior in every capacity. And I say that with the utmost amount of love.
Listen, no, you do not have to say that to me because number one, I saw your video. You have absolutely every right to be chalant about this because like you're not wrong, Maggie. And
thank you.
But I have never seen a child be birthed, but I did watch The Pit where they did like simulate a childbirth. And let me just say, I am so grateful that I'm gay. I'm so grateful that I do not feel the urge to have a child.
I'm crying.
I am in no way at a stage in life where I could bring a child into this world, but I also believe that women are superior. I'll give you that one. But let me tell you what pisses me off about the pregnancy process for all of you when people tell the man congratulations on being pregnant. I'm like, this is not a joint thing.
Or like when couples will say like we're expecting, I'm like,
no,
you are doing nothing. I'm the one that's expecting, motherfucker.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly. I get angry for you when I hear that.
Yes. Thankfully, I don't have a spouse who uses the we terminology when talking about pregnancy, which I'm very grateful for.
Yep.
But yeah, when other couples do that, I'm like, shut the fuck up. We are not doing anything. Okay. Like I am doing this. So yeah.
Oh my God. Well, Maggie, listen, I am so grateful that you came on today. I adore you. I'm so happy that you and Mallory have found each other and have created this
Aw,
beautiful space together on Pretty Furious. Um, I genuinely do want to have you back on to debate our
I
emotional
would
support billionaire.
love
So,
it.
like, after this group text with Mallory, let's figure out a date
Perfect.
and we're going to do a debate episode. So,
I love it. Amazing. Thank you so much for having me, Chad. This was great.
absolutely. Love you, Maggie.
Love ya.